Hey, welcome everybody to Hump Day Hangouts. This is the first episode of March 2023. It is the 1st of March 2023. And with episode 433 starting, we're going to say hi to the guys, and then we're going to jump into the questions after some quick announcements. But let's get started on saying hello, see what people are up to. So Chris, how are things going with you today?
Where do I start? Like lots of work. I actually woke up at 6 a.m. and been like constantly working since right now, like except like the usual meal. But it's all for one thing, that I can go snowboarding next week. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, it's all worth it to like put in the work now and like have a more relaxed week next week.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, so taking some vacation next week?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice, good thing to do. Let me see. All right, we got Bradley back. Bradley, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Had a blast at the event over the past weekend in Clearwater Beach, which is like off the coast of Tampa. So in the kind of Gulf Coast of Florida. And man, what a beautiful area. I'm not a big Florida fan, but Tampa's beautiful. Like the whole Clearwater Beach area, it's really, really nice. And like I could see myself buying a property down there as kind of like a snowbird getaway during the winter. I don't think
actually super cheap there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I already looked. I started looking, like there's mobile home parks down there where you can get like a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom mobile home for like $60,000. I'm like, fuck, man. Why wouldn't you buy something like that and have a vacation spot that you could go to in the winter? I don't know that I would like it during the summer because it's probably hot as shit down there in Tampa.
It's not that bad, actually.
Yeah, well, it was nice. It was a really nice area of Florida, man. It's funny because some of the other members were like, man, we should have done it in Miami. I was just like, you guys are nuts. Like, how is Miami any better than Tampa? You know what I mean? Again, to each their own. I prefer the Tampa and the Clearwater Beach area much over any other area that I've ever been to in Florida. So I thought
I'm all for our next SM meetup in Tampa.
I'm down. Shit, I'm down to do it down there for sure. I'd love to go back there again.
Yeah, it'll be, I was telling these guys, I think it was been like, let's see, it was around 2003. So 20 years since I've been to Tampa, but yeah, I'm sure it's built up some more. Tampa, Clearwater area. There's a lot of interesting stuff to do down there.
Yeah. It's a nice area, man. It was a great event. Had a blast. You know, the events are always good. I learn as much as I present for sure. Whenever I go there, I go with the intent to learn from others. Mm-hmm. And then obviously to cultivate, you know, further relationships with some of the other presenters and speakers, because they all have really, you know, big businesses and good, you know, strong businesses. But it's also to interact with the members, you know what I mean? Like and that I think was so much fun. And David Hood and the guys that put the event on, they did something unique that I've never had. You know, they did a 3-hour lunch webinar, or excuse me, lunch break each day. So it was like from noon to 3, where it was like we were available to hang out or do whatever we want. And I thought that was a great way to do it, because it splits the day up to where it's not so intense. You know what I mean? It gives a nice break in the middle of the day, and a lot more networking opportunities and things like that. Anyways, it was a really good event. Hats off to David and Mike Marlino and Brock and all of them for putting it on. Just a really, really good event. I enjoyed it very much.
Nice. Well, yeah, maybe we'll have to roll some of that into Pofu Live. I know we've taken some, when we were able to do it in person before the last couple of years, we had like a break. But yeah, maybe extending that out beyond an hour and a half or so, you know, going 2.5 or 3 hours. I kind of like the idea too. Very cool. Let's see, bringing up my notes. We're going to have some stuff going out. We got some cool webinars coming up. I think this is a little ways out. I'll announce it again next week, maybe the week after, but I believe on the 13th, Bradley's going to be talking with Jesper, looking at the AI stuff that he's been rolling into Yaks. So pretty excited to see what's going on there. I know he's been heads down working on that for a bit, and is going to be sharing some of that with us. Let me see. Also, just wanted to say too, usually we have some updates going on what's going on in the mastermind. If you can't hear from my voice, I'm a little sick, so my brain is about 30 seconds behind. So just wanted to say, if you're ready to join the mastermind, if you do local SEO, if you're an agency owner, if you're a consultant, anything in the local SEO space, come check out the mastermind. And you can find out more about that at mastermind.semanticmastery.com. And then Chris will hit me over the head the next time I see him if I don't say this, but go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can head, if you're watching this on YouTube, you probably are. You can click on the channel, click on Semantic Mastery, hit subscribe. That's once you get notified of when we go live. But also, if you do watch Hump Day Hangouts, it's a great way to stay up to date when the questions are posted, because as you know, we chop up all of the questions people ask and get those posted. So you can find out more about that, as well as other notifications when things come up. So beyond that, guys, anything else we need to cover?
Yeah, what's happening on Twitch at the moment?
Oh yeah, what's going on? And Bradley, how do we find you on Twitch? Just kidding, I had to ask.
There's this really cool feature of Twitch that is kind of new to the internet and the web. It's called a search bar. If you go up there and you type in Bradley Benner, a really cool thing happens. I'll pop right up. So that's a good way to check it out. I know this technology is fucking amazing, to be honest with you. So there's that. But after a several day kind of hiatus from traveling, I'm back, and I'm so close to launching my second kind of lead gen site based on the rank and rent process. Testing different configurations. So I'm doing a lot of extensive testing on structure. I've already found a site structure that works really well, but I'm trying to create a structure that's easier to scale. In other words, the site structure that I developed last year, and I've tested on several projects, both client and lead gen assets and all kinds of stuff, and it works really well, but it's very labor intensive. Even though it can be outsourced, it's very labor intensive to collect all that, what I call geo-relevance data. So I was trying to develop some ways that make it scaling more easier, right? So that you can scale faster. And so I'm testing different configurations, different site structures, sometimes things on subdomains, sometimes not. Testing different kind of apps to develop geo pages or local pages. Right now, I'm about another day or two away from having the second asset that I've built as part of this process on Twitch deployed. This one is for a tree service lead gen asset in Pennsylvania, and I'm probably a day or two away from launching that. And then I'm going to do some geo pages on that one with Yaks. However, that said, Evo 4, which is Peter Drew's product, that he's launching. It's currently in beta. It's available for beta launch right now. If anybody's curious and they want to go check it out, it's SM for semantic mastery.evo4. So evo4.com, or excuse me, .ai. So sm.evo4.ai. You can go check it out. There's only a few platinum beta positions open right now, which is like, it's a lifetime deal. That's all that's available. But I'm going to start testing with that on Friday. Even if point I'm trying to make is tomorrow I'm going to try to get that Pennsylvania asset launched, and hopefully I do, but I don't know that I'll get it done fully tomorrow. But either way, I promised Peter on Friday I'm going to start testing with Evo 4. I'm going to be doing that live during my streaming sessions. And then once I get the hang of it and become a little bit more familiar with it, then I'm going to do some formal training for Evo 4. So I'll be playing with that a bit next week too. But yeah, just testing all different kinds of structures. I've got some that are working really, really well. But I'm about this close to being able to figure out which method I'm going to use, and then I'm going to scale that. And when I go to start scaling that, that's when I'm going to develop the SOPs for that particular method. And then that will be available inside the mastermind. So this streaming stuff that I'm doing on Twitch has been a lot of kind of like R&D, research and discovery. But once I have identified the best performing method, then I'll create an SOP around that, and I'm going to scale the shit out of that this year. So check it out.
Very nice. Do it. And Bradley, can you say the link again? I'm going to write it down, and I'll pop it in chat for people.
Yeah, it's sm.evo4, the number 4,
yeah.
.ai.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Keyword managers in beta for Evo. That's cool. Yeah, I'm going to be testing a lot on that over the next couple of weeks. Yaks, I've been trying to learn how to use Yaks for geo pages, and I'm just about ready to launch those pages for this Pennsylvania asset. I've just got to finish one more page on the Pennsylvania site, and then once that's published, which that'll be done tomorrow for sure, then I've just got to deploy the Yaks pages. So like I said, I'm hoping to get those done tomorrow, but we'll see.
Well, I just saw your testimonial on the page.
Yeah, I did a video for him. Well, he asked me to do training for him. So I'm going to be doing, like I said, I'm going to be playing with it a lot next week. And then once I get comfortable with it and figure out the best use strategy, like my use case for it, then I'm going to do formal training on it. So within the next 2 weeks or so, I'm going to start developing training for Peter and Evo for.
Cool.
Very nice. All right, guys.
Okay.
Well, let's get into the questions.
Let's do
Sounds
it.
good.
I don't have a lot of pre-posted questions, so we'll start and we'll see how things go.
Cool.
Oops, wrong button. Move shit around. Okay, I think we're good. I think the first question that came up was, hey guys, what are your thoughts on archive.org or the Wayback Machine? Does Google crawl this? Can we build links to the URLs, and if crawled, would it be counted as duplicate content, etc. of our website? That's a good question. I think, are you asking build links to like the archive.org snapshots of the pages? You know, if that's the question that you're asking, I believe my former partner, or one of our former partners, Marco, had done testing with that years ago. I can't remember what the tests were and whether it was whether we determined we should build links to it or not. I can't remember. I know that was being tested in the mastermind by Marco. I believe it was by him many years ago, but God, that would have been probably back in the beginning days of RYS Academy, which is where drive stacks were born. You know what I mean? So that would have been back in 2015. So 8 years ago. So a long time ago. I can't remember what the results of those tests were, or else I'd have a better answer for you. I don't know. That would be a good test. I don't think it would be duplicate content. It wouldn't be counted as duplicate content. It's a different domain, right? Duplicate content only occurs on the same domain, really. And it's not even really duplicate content. I mean, it can cause problems on the same domain, but duplicate content is not real when it's on other domains. It's the original and copies, right? That's like press releases. There's the original press release distribution point, and then it gets picked up and republished across hundreds of other media outlets, and it's an exact copy. And it's not duplicate content. It's the original and copies, right? So it's not duplicate content unless it's on the same domain, period. End of story. That question has been coming up since SEO was invented. And I imagine it's going to continue coming up. But yeah, I don't know what the results of that are, but hey, test it, guys. Remember, I mean, if I had an answer, I'd certainly give it to you. And I don't remember what the test was on that, or what the results were. So I can't give you the best answer on whether it's worth doing or not, but you could always test that. It's not going to hurt anything, right? I mean, well,
from what I remember, like we tested the whole thing in combination with the Alexa.
Yeah, domain authority
like
stacking.
Yeah, exactly. With that, I think we had it working, but not sure about anything else.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the domain authority stacking and shit. That was pre-2015. Well, that was around that time, 2013 to 2015 timeframe. And yeah, but that's not really a method that I still use anymore. But when I said it can't hurt you, that's wrong. It potentially could, if you were to like use spammy links and things like that, that could potentially cause problems, but I don't know without testing. So here's a good idea. Go find a snapshot of a website that's currently not ranking in your same niche, even in the same location. If you're doing local, for example, you could go just pick a competitor's site that's ranking on like page 2 or 3, right? And then go to the Wayback Machine, archive.org, find their site, grab one of the snapshot URLs or several of them, and then you build links to it and see what happens. Like that way you're not testing on your client site, right? But you're testing on somebody else's site that's not performing well anyway. So what's gonna, I mean, if it causes positive movement, so what? You saw some positive movement. Now you know it's something you could duplicate again. You could I would recommend testing it on more than just one location, because one result is not good enough for me to say, yeah, that's law. This works, right? You got to be able to duplicate it more than one occasion. But if you get positive movement, then you could, test it again on another one. If you get positive movement again, then you could test it again or start applying it to your own projects, right? If you get negative movement, try it on another property again. If you get negative movement again, then it's probably likely that it's not a good thing to try or to test, right? Just a couple of things you can do. But guys, test. I got away from testing last year because I didn't have the time to do it. And now part of the reason I do my Twitch streaming stuff in the morning was specifically to force myself to be able to start testing again, because I enjoy that. And that's how you remain sharp in SEO. Does that make sense? So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Moving on. Sorry if you've answered this before. I'm wondering what is the best tracking reporting software is best for local SEO. I don't know if it's best. I use brightlocal. I've got a lot of complaints about brightlocal, but I've been using brightlocal since like 2013, I think. So like 10 years. It's not the greatest. There are problems, but all of them have problems. So I use brightlocal. I've been with them for 10 years. I don't see changing just because I'm really familiar with it, but whatever. Says I've used brightlocal and I'm considering local Viking. Not sure if this one is only for the US market though. I was wondering what you recommend. Thank you kindly. Yeah, I just mentioned I don't use local Viking or local Falcon or any of them. Patrick Shannon of LeadSnap was at the event and we had a chance to talk quite a bit. LeadSnap is really solid product and it has GeoGrid tracking it as part of it. It's a lead, a local SEO and lead generation CRM, an application essentially. I've said this many times before, but if I wasn't so married to High Level with it, integrated with so many of my businesses and my clients' businesses, I would have been using LeadSnap long ago, over a year ago now, actually. I've been so kind of entangled with High Level that I haven't even given LeadSnap much of a thought because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to use it because again, I've got so many freaking clients and businesses all wrapped up in High Level that it would just be so much work to try to like disentangle from that and switch to another app. However, after getting to know Patrick a little bit more at the event over the past weekend, I'd much rather support him than High Level. And it's not anything a slight against High Level, but it is a very specifically, it's a lead generation and local SEO app, like SaaS app, right? So it's better suited for my business than High Level. High Level does a lot of other stuff that maybe LeadSnap doesn't do because it's like the Swiss Army of marketing automation, right? That's what High Level is. But with that additional functionality comes additional complexity. And I think LeadSnap is a little bit easier for specifically an SEO and lead generation business because it's more tailored to that type of a business than being kind of a catch-all Swiss Army knife of automation apps. So I like LeadSnap for that. And he was gracious enough to say, contact his development team and they will help me to disentangle from High Level. So I'm going to give that serious consideration. I haven't committed 100% to it yet, but I'm considering doing that. So you might want to look at LeadSnap. I'm just bringing that to your attention. I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that. Just go check out leadsnap.com, see if it's something you'd be interested in. There's a lot of really cool functionality that included in that, including the local search grids. I don't know if it has organic rank tracking or not, but I know it has local search grid tracking, review, review tracking and building app, functionality built into it as well. So there's a lot of really cool things that can be done in LeadSnap, just so you know. So I would consider giving that a serious look before picking something else. Okay. Just because if you're doing local SEO and lead gen, like I said, besides just the reporting functionality, it has a lot of additional things that will help you to grow your business. That's my pitch for LeadSnap, just because I know Patrick and his kind of vision and everything else. And he's a good dude and he's one of us, you know what I mean? So anyway, I don't have any coupons codes, guys. Nice try though. Like I'm giving an actual authentic pitch for LeadSnap with no incentive whatsoever. And you got a coupon? No, I don't, man. I'm sorry. It's not a promotion. It's just good thoughts because the app looks good. So anyways, eventually I'm going to bring, whether I end up switching over to LeadSnap or not, I'm still going to bring Patrick in to have a chat with our audience about his app so that he can demonstrate it for you guys and you can see the true power of it. I think there's a lot of value there. Okay. I want to ask a question someone else asked this week. You mentioned so many tools on Twitch. What are the core set someone just starting out with their biz should budget for on day one? Really, the only thing that you absolutely need, all the tools that I use, it's because I just have so many of them and I get it. Not everybody's going to have all those tools, or nor should you when you first start out because you'll become overwhelmed. Learn WordPress. As much as I hate to say it, that's industry standard. There's so much. Learn WordPress if you don't already know it. So you're going to need hosting, right? I recommend WPX hosting. If you're not real good with setting up hosting stuff and all that, WPX hosting, which is Terry Kyle's, it's fabulous. Their support is out of this world. It's hands down the best support I've ever had. WPX, it's that like the support staff over there will help you just about anything, and they do it very quickly. So I would encourage you to check out WPX hosting. I also like Cloudways hosting, but that's more do it yourself, a lot more do it yourself. So I don't recommend that if you're just starting out. So WPX hosting, you're going to need that. I would recommend an AI writing assistant or ChatGPT, get a paid account, it's $20 a month, I think, something that, or better yet, go buy ZimWriter. Guys, if you're not using ZimWriter, it is an amazing tool. And you need your own ChatGPT API key or OpenAI API key. So you do pay for usage to connect to the Open API, but anyways, what I'm saying is ZimWriter doesn't have a monthly subscription. Well, it can, but if you buy the lifetime deal, it's $200, $197. I've bought it 3 times already now. It is freaking amazing. I love that app, man. And by the way, his YouTube channel, it's Matt Zimmerman. His YouTube channel is Ranking Tactics. If you go to YouTube and search Ranking Tactics, you'll find his channel and you'll see all of the videos that he's been producing about the ZimWriter app. And it's amazing. So you're going to need something like that in order to produce content if you're going to do it in-house. And when you're just starting out, I expect you to probably do it in-house. You want to become familiar with those types of apps. So ZimWriter is really good. Some of the other tools, I don't know if ZimWriter can do outlines. It probably can. I've not used it for that. I'm just getting started with ZimWriter myself. So some of you that have been using probably explain this. My guess is it probably can produce outlines, but having some sort of an on-page SEO app, Phrase, Surfer SEO, on-page AI, or on-page AI or outranking.io, something like that, so that it can kind of help you to develop content that's optimized. So ZimWriter is an app that can produce content, but you want to direct those AI writing assistants to produce optimized articles. So you're going to need an SEO app for that. So just pick one. Like I said, Surfer SEO, outranking.io, onpage.ai, or on-page.ai. Those are the ones that we typically Phrase, F-R-A-S-E. I think it's .io. Those are all really good apps for developing outlines. And then you can flesh that content or those outlines out with something like ZimWriter. Some of those apps have AI writing assistants integrated with them, or for an add-on subscription, you can get AI writing assistants. So that may be a better option. But why I like ZimWriter again is a one lifetime fee, $197, and then you only pay for usage via the OpenAI API. That makes sense. And then Peter Drew's LiveRank Sniper. That's what I use for testing keywords. You were asking specifically about my Twitch strategy. If you're thinking about doing local SEO or lead gen, then finding keyword opportunities that you can rank for fairly easily without a lot of additional on-page work or off-page work, which means links and things like that. Then finding those quick ranking opportunities using something like LiveRank Sniper, Peter Drew's tool. That's a great way for you to get your feet wet and being able to rank stuff fairly quickly by identifying those keywords. Then beyond that, you can do everything else like with, seriously, just to get started. Those are really the only things I recommend. Having a hosting account for self-hosted websites, having a content production tool, an SEO kind of tool that can help you with keyword research, developing outlines, etc., and then something for testing keywords, right? Again, that's just so that you can get started and find quick ranking opportunities by testing different things in different locations, etc. And then you can build out free Web 2.0 assets to kind of test, once you've proven keywords that you can rank for with YouTube Live, scheduled live events, which is what LiveRank Sniper does, then you can go in and you can build a WordPress site targeting those keywords and locations, or you can do it with pure Web 2.0 properties, which are free. You got to go in and create them and that kind of stuff. You can do a combination of both, which is what I prefer, is to do both self-hosted site and Web 2.0 assets as supporting assets. But again, that's very inexpensive, right? Hosting, AI writing assistant, SEO assistant, or SEO tuning tool. LiveRank Sniper is what I'm going to recommend, or something like that. There are some alternatives right there. I know Staxio, which is Braulio's product, has a LiveRank scheduled live event app that he just recently launched. So that's another one, something like that. And then once you've identified keywords, you can build Web 2.0 sites or self-hosted sites, or what I prefer is both. Right? Start with lower competition stuff. Here, I'll give you guys something. All right. This, Adam, I think this should work, but this is the selecting a niche / industry. Let's see. How do I get the link for that? Adam, are you still? No, he's not here. How do I get the share link for this, Chris? I'm still new to Circle.
I'm not sure either. Sorry.
There it is. I think that's it.
Just trying to get the share link.
I'm just trying to get the share link for that. But anyways, if you can figure it out, Chris, while I'm answering the rest of these questions, it's the selecting a niche / industry course. It should be free in Circle. If we can get the link for that and post that in chat. Something else that I would recommend is going through this training program here. If we go take a look at this, I'm about to give this to you guys free, right? So you can come in here and you can go through, and this is very thorough training. I don't do training that's not thorough, but this will show you kind of like how to select a niche or an industry to target if you're just starting out. It's very thorough, guys, because you want to spend more time researching up front, because you'll have less headache and less remorse and regret later. So that's why it's a very thorough SOP here for how to figure out a niche and determine its viability and its profitability. And again, all of this can be done before you ever try to test any keywords at all. And then that way, you know that you've selected an industry that there's already steady demand or increasing demand for. You know that there's other businesses that are spending money on leads to generate leads in that industry. And then you can start targeting that industry or two. I wouldn't test more than 2 industries at a time, honestly, guys, because especially if you're just starting out, because you'll become overwhelmed. But try 1 or 2 industries that you have a genuine interest in, understand them, learn about them, make sure they're viable. Again, this is very thorough training, guys. And you go through here, and once you've kind of identified some industries that you know are viable, they're profitable, there's competition in it, which competition is good because it means there's people spending money. Then you can go kind of start testing these methods. And that's what I would recommend. And do not test in a major metropolitan area. Find the kind of suburbs outside of a metropolitan area, which would be considered low to medium competition, or sometimes medium to high competition, depending on where it is. But you want to start with something a little bit easier to begin with so that you can get some traction and boost your confidence. If you try to go right in for like a major metropolitan area, you're going to be in for a dogfight, and it's going to take you months to probably ever see any results. And that's very discouraging. Too many people quit when they're just a few steps away from achieving some success. So that's why I recommend if you start with something a little bit easier, less competitive, you'll start to see some success initially, which is a confidence booster, and it encourages you or motivates you to continue pushing, right? So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Moving on. Luffy says, Bradley, keep up the good work. I want to build Web 2.0 PBN Network. Or Web 2.0 links still effective in 2023? They can be if you build relevancy through that, like, so you can build topical relevance up in them. Like, in other words, build topical authority. That's what I meant. Topical authority to Web 2.0 networks. They can provide value. I don't think they're as valuable as obviously as they were a few years ago, but there can still be. I mean, that's what we do for for my agency clients. We're not really publishing, like, we take the branded Web 2.0 network that we build for them, and we publish well-tuned, like well-optimized long-form content on those branded blogs. So they're external blogs. Does that make sense? So, you know, Blogger, Tumblr, WordPress, gsite, etc. Those types of things. We build long-form content to produce topical authority, to build topical authority to the branded assets, which kind of makes those more powerful, more valuable. The links from them are more valuable then. So yeah, it can be. You can build topical authority to Web 2.0 blogs. And guys, with the apps, like, I mean, shit, ChatGPT alone, if you just have the $20, well, you could probably do it free, but half the time you can't even get into it on the free account. But with, I think, $20 a month, at least that's what I'm spending, you can go in and with a few prompts, you can get a topical map for an entire topic or industry, and like literally have your entire map created by ChatGPT, that if you produce all the content based upon the topical authority map, you will build authority to those Web 2.0 blogs. And you can do that on Blogger, Tumblr, whatever, just pick one, right? Or do it for all of them. In our mastermind, I shared some of those prompts a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, you can just go search YouTube. There's so many people out there sharing prompts right now. It's all you got to do is find some good prompts and you'll figure it out. Okay. Hi, the links, payment pages for local SEO, link building with G Sheets are not working. Yeah, I know. I can't control other people's products, guys. Sorry, not my product. We've been banging our head against the walls trying to get those links to work. It's not our product. So we unlisted that YouTube video specifically because those links haven't been working. So I know they're not working. Sorry, guys. I don't have any control over that. It's not our product. So I wish it worked because I know we would have made a hell of a lot more sales had those links worked, but they kept going up and coming down, going up and coming down. And until they're resolved permanently, I'm just going to leave that shit unlisted because it's caused a lot of support stuff for us. And we can't do anything about it. So sorry, Brainerd. Next, hey, Semantic Mastery. Wondering if it's a good idea to get some sape links pointed at a gsite page that in turn links and embeds to a money page for a competitive niche. Would it be safe for you to point to a URL shortened site and then go to the gsite? Yeah, you can do it. It's a gsite, guys. You can spam. I know I talk about not doing it because I don't, but you can spam a gsite. I don't recommend it, but you can. Is that clear? I don't like to, I mean, sape links can be very powerful. I don't really use them much anymore. By the way, the gsite and stack provider that I have been using on Legit, his legit username is called iWebSEO. His real name is Cal and he's in France. Anyways, I've been using him for GStacks for like about a year now, and or a little over a year actually. And he does that automatically. They're rented links. So for the first month, when you buy a GStack from him for the first month, he points a bunch of sape links at it. I don't know, 20 or 30 sape links or something like that. And that's precisely to help it get indexed. And then they're just rented links for a month. And at the end of a month, he takes them down. Now he gives you the option. You can rent those links from him further, but I think it's a great strategy just for the first month because it helps it to get indexed. And he keeps them up for 30 days while you can build some additional links to the site so that when he takes them down, you've already got other links pointing to it. So I think it's a great option to use that. Again, if you just go to Legit and you can look up iWebSEO, like the letter I, web, SEO, it's all one word. That's his username. His real name is Cal. He's got Google Stacks and they're one page G sites with the Google Stack component built into the homepage. And like I said, he does sape links directly to them for 30 days. And then you can build your own links during that time so that when he takes those links down, there's still links and it'll remain indexed. Usually, I mean, it'll come and go. G sites do that, but most of the time it'll remain indexed. Would I recommend purchasing sape or renting sape links to point to the G site? You can get away with that. They're rented links though. Why not buy permanent links instead? I mean, that's my opinion, guys. You can do whatever you want. I know it works. People spam the shit out of G sites all the time and get results. You can do that. I don't. I prefer to do topically relevant links, and I like to buy permanent links, not rented links and not shit junk spam links that are going to be de-indexed or suspended from the web anyways within a matter of weeks or months. I like to use more permanent type links. So, but can you do it? Will it work? Yeah, you can do it. Will it work? Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of other variables on whether or not it'll work. It can work for sure, though. There's no question it can work. Okay. And yeah, if I was going to spam a G site, I would probably have a redirect buffering from the G site to the money site. Just because that's kind of like a way to kind of prevent any negative equity from flowing through that link. But generally you can hit a G site with whatever kitchen sink spam and it'll be okay. I just don't like to do it. Hopefully that makes sense. What's up, Gordon? He says, hey, if I understand correctly, Google assets like Google Sites are easier to get to the top of the search engine results than non-Google assets. Generally, that is true, yes. If that is correct, wouldn't it make sense to use Google Sites for a rank and rent site? And why then do most people choose to use WordPress instead of a Google site? More functionality. You can do it with just a G site. I like building more permanent assets. So for a more permanent asset, I want a self-hosted site. That's why I do it. You can totally do rank and rent only, lead gen only with just G sites or just Web 2.0s and things like that. But I like to build a brand. And if I'm going to build a brand, then I'm going to want a self-hosted website, because what do real brands do? You think real brands just use G sites? No, spammers just use G sites. G sites might be as part of a larger brand, but they're not usually the sole website for brands. You know what I mean? So who uses gsite only? SEOs and spammers. You know what I mean? So there's a reason to use self-hosted sites, and that is, you know, if you're trying to build a brand. If you're just strictly trying to do rank and rent stuff and things like that, by all means, yeah, you can get away with just gsite. We've had a lot of people in our mastermind over the years that have done that. So I know people that have built entire businesses on just gsite. So you can certainly do it. I just prefer to have a branded asset that I can build authority to that brand. And what do real brands do? They have real websites, real self on domains that they control or, you know, register, etc. Okay. You mentioned that your tree service directory site is not a local directory. So what measures do you take to get the listing pages for clients from each individual city to rank? And I presume that you only take on one client listing from each city. No, not true at all. It's what do I mean? It's not a local. I mean, it's a niche specific directory. So I'm not sure what you mean. It's not a local directory. It's an industry directory for tree service contractors. What measures do you take to get the listing page for clients from each individual city to rank? Well, I don't typically try to rank. I've been able to rank my directory pages for generic keywords with proper attention to those pages, both on page and off page, meaning on-page optimization, as well as link building and things like that to the directory pages. I've been able to rank them for generic tree service search terms, but where they shine is for branded searches. So, you know, guys, it's normal for customers, consumers that are contacting companies, especially like service contractors or any kind of company that they're going to be buying something from, a product or service from. It's normal for people to first do some generic keyword searches, and then when they find some potential companies to provide the product or service that they're seeking, to then go do some brand searches for those companies and see what comes up, right? That's just kind of normal process for people in today's, you know, on the web today, right? So those directory pages will rank for the brand search easy if they've optimized properly. Not all of them are. The ones that aren't, you know, generic are poorly optimized directory listings that we don't go in and manually optimize typically don't rank. Sometimes they do, but not always. But the ones that we go in and optimize, because I have a VA that will go in and optimize them for user submitted listings and things like that, those will rank for the brand searches. So of course you can go in if you own the directory, right? If it's your directory, you can go in and optimize the directory pages any way you want. You can build links to them. You can do all kinds of stuff to get them to rank for generic keyword searches as well. But where I see it shining is another brand asset that you can power up. Okay. So there you go. When I say it's not a local directory, I mean a local directory would be like a city specific directory or county specific or region specific or state specific, right? I have a national directory for tree service contractors, so it's not technically a local directory. If that makes sense. I presume you only take on one client listing from each city? No, hell no. I'll take on all the tree contractors in every city. Why would I limit myself to that? As far as take only one client listings, I'll take every single tree service contractor in every city and put them on my directory. Now, if I'm having a paid retainer client, like somebody that's paying me to do SEO, then generally I will only do one per city. But if if I've got a client paying me for a particular tree service contractor in a city, paying me on a retainer basis for me to optimize their brand and their presence, then yes, I'll only take on one client, but I will also build lead gen assets in that same fucking city. So that because I'm already in that city doing SEO work for my contractor client, right? So why not also build lead gen assets that I own and control that I can use to help augment and supplement the SEO to that retainer-based client? And therefore, if that client ever decides that they don't need me anymore, I've already got other assets in that city that are producing that then I can go sell to their competitor. Does that make sense? And if you understand what I'm saying, yes, I will only take one retainer-based client in any one city in one particular industry. Now, I can take a tree service contractor and a landscaper in the same city because there might be a little bit of overlap in services, but they're different businesses, right? So I can do that all day long. But if I only take on one tree service contractor in any one city, then I'm going to also go build out lead gen assets in that same city that I will use to help the SEO for my client. but also so that I can rank those and end up having redundancy in that city in the event that that client decides they don't want me anymore or need me anymore, then so be it. Then I can go into those assets that I used to help rank their assets and remove or no follow whatever was going to theirs. And now I've got assets that I can remonetize with someone else. Hopefully that makes sense. Why not, guys? If you're in a single, I mean, if you're building out, doing SEO for clients, why not build assets that you own and control to help that client, but they're yours, right? You keep them, you control them. I don't know. That's what I do. Herbert says, how would you go about determining target keywords to include in monthly SEO retainers? Do you suggest making packages, example, one package has 10 keywords, reporting in 5 links, or just go custom for every client? No, I don't do by keywords, guys. I'm sorry, I don't do it like that. Maybe in the past, but not anymore, because the way that keywords are associated now and how Google ranks things is completely different than it used to be. It's not really keyword based anymore. It's more topic based. In other words, a particular topic has a group of keywords associated with it, related keywords. And so I kind of try to optimize for the topic more than the keywords, right? You can optimize for keywords and rank keywords and maybe variants of that keyword. But if you optimize for a topic, you can rank for all the keywords associated with that topic. So if you sell your SEO packages based on number of keywords, then that means you're optimizing for keywords. Why would you do that when it limits your exposure? If you optimize for the topic, you can rank for all the keywords associated with that topic, which exponentially increases the number of keywords that you can rank for, right? So I don't do it by keywords. And generally what I do, like for tree service contractors, guys, is really only like a handful of keywords, like 5 that produce all the leads. So I just optimize for those every time. And if we rank for those, we're going to rank for all the keywords associated, or many of them, not all of them, but many of them associated with the industry. Tree service, tree removal, tree trimming, tree care, stump grinding, and to a lesser degree, tree clearing or land clearing. They're synonymous. Tree clearing is a broader topic than land clearing, but those 5 keywords in the tree service industry: tree service, tree removal, tree trimming, tree care, stump grinding. Okay. And like another one, which is oftentimes will fall within the tree care topic, would be arborist or arborist services, right? That's it. I just optimize for those 5 or 6 keywords every time. I mean, again, go to my Twitch channel and just take a look at what I've been doing every morning for the last 2 months, right? Targeting those same 6 keywords that I just described every single time, because I'm in that industry and it's those 6 keywords. So I don't do packages based on keywords, because if I rank for any one of like those top 6 keywords are the one, 5 or 6 keywords are the keywords that I always target for every tree service project, period. And we rank for a whole big, vast group of keywords, long tails and everything else. So that's what I recommend. Again, it's not about the number of keywords. It's about optimizing for the topic. I don't know if that makes sense. I see big agency offers packs of keywords, like 50 keywords. Guys, big agencies aren't very nimble, right? The bigger they are, the slower they are to adjust to the changing times. Isn't that true for everything, like the federal government or like Google itself, right? The bigger it is, the slower it is to react to the changing environment. So big agencies, I understand that they're doing that, but they're optimizing for keywords instead of topics, right? It's kind of old school SEO. Google's gotten away from, I mean, you can optimize for keywords and you can rank for keywords, or you can optimize for topics and rank for a lot of additional keywords. So I recommend optimizing for topics. Yeah, okay. Being a smaller organization or agency or consultant gives you the ability, flexibility to be able to change, be nimble, dexterous. Well, I think that's the appropriate term. You know what I mean? Anyway, Phil says, I have followed Bradley's advice for content mirroring the money site into the Google Stack assets and iframing in pages. Will it benefit if we send some PBN links to the gsite pages that link and have our money site pages embedded in there? Yes. Any one of the layers in the content mirroring method are link building targets. If so, what anchors would you use? And would you go direct or through another buffer that then links to the gsite page? No, you can go direct. So let me pull that up real quick. Give me a second. That's a great question. So Stand by and I'll demonstrate this. It's a good question. Any
By
one
the
of
way,
those layers. Go ahead.
I checked this, like I posted the link to join the niche
Okay.
selection kind of thing, just so people know.
So it's in chat, guys. Selecting a niche
Yep.
training. It's in
Yep.
chat. Thank you. What was I doing? Content mirroring. Right here. Okay. So this structure here. So you're asking if you can build links. You can see I say topically relevant links in this diagram to any one of these layers, right? This is the money site layer, and you can build topically relevant links there too. But to be safe, and whether if you have a Google business profile, this is for a no Google business profile project, because I'm doing a lot of that right now because of the hybrid model that I've been working on, and keep telling you guys, like, that's what I'm working on, the organic assets, get them to rank, use that to find lead buyers that already have Google business profiles that aren't ranking, right? So you get them to rent the assets or buy leads, whatever, however you monetize the organic assets, and then you back into doing retainer-based work on their Google business profile. So you don't have to worry about getting spammed listings or spammed Google business profiles. You don't have to worry about them being suspended and then trying to reinstate them, all of that, because they're real valid businesses. You can work a Google business profile into this sort of a structure. And if you do that, it would be right here. It would be in parallel with the YouTube videos. That's the first layer in the content mirroring structure. That makes sense. So any one of these points here are link building. All of these are link building targets. So what would I do? Typically, guys, I recommend mostly at tier 1 brand anchors. I've been saying that for over a year now, a year and a half. Again, here's another example, just for some more context. Okay. Take screenshots, guys. If you haven't already, take screenshots. But here's what I do for most of my anchor text ratios, right? Generally at tier 1, mostly brand anchors, and some embeds, but typically only the Google business website and map do I do embeds for, because I've seen cannibalization occur from a different domain, like essentially another domain. If you embed the money site, sometimes can outrank the money site. So you got to be careful about that. So I don't do a lot of embeds with the money site anymore. I do in the G site, but I'm saying that's further out. I mean, I've seen that cannibalize it still to this day. Anyway, but mostly brand anchors at tier 1. At tier 2, you can do what I call target anchors, which is keyword plus location modifier, or topic anchors, which are keywords only. And then out at tier 3, generally, and by the way, these are just guidelines. It's not always this structure, because that would leave a pattern. We don't do that, right? We shouldn't do that. But we do target anchors often at tier 2, and then topic anchors at tier 3. But we do a combination of all of these at all different tiers. But this is kind of the method that's been working well for us. We're mostly at tier 1. We do branded anchors mostly. And so coming back to this, what I would do is kind of a mix between brand, target, and topic anchors to all of these. That makes sense. With the heaviest percentage on brand. That's what I'm seeing in local works the most, guys. I mean, again, the 80-20 rule applies here. 80% of the time when I'm doing competition analysis for local projects, doesn't matter what industry it's in, 80% of the time, the average anchor text ratio for the top 5 ranked competitors in organic search is 40% or higher in the brand anchor text category. That makes sense. So that's good. It makes our job easier as local, as SEOs that are doing local work. When you're ever question what kind of link to build, direct to the money site, or even to your branded tier 1 assets, go with a brand link or brand anchor, excuse me. Right. And then beyond that, that's where you can start pushing some keyword anchors in. Target anchors are keyword plus location modifier. Topic anchors are keyword only without location modifier. That makes sense. So this kind of a structure is just, again, this guy's just like a funnel, right? Bottom of funnel is the most specific, which I would want to consider brand. Then as you go further up in the funnel, you can broaden it out a bit, right? So that's why I say I like to have brand at tier 1, linking to the tier 0 assets. At tier 2, target sometimes, or topic, a combination of the two. But you can also do brand at tier 2, by the way, because if these are branded tier 1 assets, wouldn't it make sense to link to those with a brand anchor? Of course it would. So you can do 2 tiers of brand anchors, and then start hitting at tier 3, your target and topic anchors, which are keyword anchors. Does that make sense? Anyway, keep moving. Okay, we already answered that. We're good. Can you explain the requirements for Local Fury? I want to set my business profile up right from the start and get it ranking fast. Yeah, go to the Local Fury YouTube channel. And you can see what we look for. And then we do full audits. We haven't already. That's something that we can do sometime this month, which is to put tutorial videos on how to perform an audit yourself on the Local Fury channel. That's something we should do anyways. I know most people are still going to want us to do the audits. That's fine as part of our onboarding requirement now, which has an onboarding or setup fee. It requires that's wise because we do an audit. Because if we find out that your projects that you submit aren't ready for signals, like guys, if you have a poorly optimized or you got some sort of problem with a local business, a local project, right? So a Google business profile, and there's some sort of problem with it, the entity's ambiguated, or it's got poor on-page optimization, or none, or bad on-page optimization, or it's got a shitty link profile, or over-optimized link profile, or whatever. There's a whole long laundry list of things that could be wrong with the project. And sending all the signals in the world to it aren't going to help. So we've had to start doing the audits as part of the onboarding process, and that's what the onboarding fee covers, is the cost of labor to generate the reports and pay our auditor to perform the audits. And then we provide a 21-point checklist with detailed results for each of the 21 points in video format, explaining what we found, what we feel can be improved, and what we suggest to make those improvements. And if we find a property that is very poorly optimized or that we don't think is going to respond to signals, we're going to tell you, like, hey, let's not proceed with this until these items are executed on, right? These tasks are completed. You bring the project into a healthier position, and then we'll send signals to it. But it really doesn't make sense to just throw signals at something that it's not going to respond, right? So unfortunately, no, we do not have any. Just go to the YouTube channel on Local Fury. Just go to YouTube and search Local Fury. Go to the channel. There's some training on there about what we look for. That is a good idea. We should have some tutorial videos on the channel for how you can execute your own local audit. And that's something that we can put on the to-do list, and sometime this month, we'll get to it. It's a great opportunity for us to add some additional value and training. All right, Dylan says, hey guys, I ordered a drive stack a while ago and saw an XML feed in there. What's the purpose of this? And how can we create one? How can we create one to put there? Are there any SEO benefits? I don't know. XML feed file in there. I don't know that you can do that with the new G sites. I know the old ones you could. I don't know that you. So I'm not familiar with that on the new G sites, and I don't know that that's even still a thing. I know the old G sites had that kind of functionality. I don't know about the new ones though. So I don't have an answer for you, Dylan. I'm sorry, buddy. Moving on. Bruce says, hey guys, been running an agency for a few years now, doing websites, SEO, software development, hosting, and PPC management, and wondering what my hourly rates should be. Currently dealing with a lot of subject matter experts, so worried I might price them out. I think that's SMEs, subject matter experts, isn't it? With lots of SMEs, I think so. Anyways, do you guys have different rates?
Small and medium enterprises could be as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that might be it. That's probably it. Do you guys have different rates for things like services and consulting that you switch between in your agencies? Wondering what the best way going forward is.
Not to charge hourly.
Yeah. I don't charge. I mean, I do charge hourly occasionally, but I try not to. I try to charge on a per task basis because that's the way I pay my employees. I only have a couple of hourly employees. Almost everybody's paid on a per task basis, and that's how I try to monetize everything on a per task basis, including the way that I get paid. If that makes sense. Because then you get rewarded for efficiency, right? When you're on hourly, you get penalized for efficiency. Think about that, guys. The better you are at your job, the more efficient you are at it. Now, I guess you can charge higher for it, obviously. But I don't recommend hourly unless you're just doing consulting. You know what I mean?
Matt, I'm not sure like if we understand the question correctly.
Maybe
it
not.
Could also be like with everything that he's getting, like he might not even be charging hourly, but like at the end of the month or something like that, what if he looks at the profits or something like that, what he should be like getting on the hourly if he does the math on it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have set prices that I use for my, basic like entry level package. And then I have a bunch of different add-ons that I typically encourage. But my low end Google Business SEO retainer fee starts at $850 a month. Well, it's $899 now. It was $850, or $849, but now it's $899 because the cost of fucking everything has gone up in the last 12 months. In case you guys hadn't noticed,
except the mastermind so far. Like, we probably should increase the price.
Oh, I should increase it beyond that too. I know, and I know I'm underpricing a bit, but I typically try to make it up in volume as well as add-ons and things like that. So sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, Bruce. Next one is Frankie. What's up, Frankie? Had an amazing time with you at the event, man. Had a lot of fun, man, for real. That was awesome. And I've known Frankie for a long time on the web, but to meet him in person was fabulous. It was a really, really good time. Had a great time. Hey, Bradley, I had a blast hanging out with you at SEO at the beach in Clearwater. It was so much fun. I agree. At the event, we spoke briefly about pay structures for our teams, and you were sharing insight regarding your pay per task pricing model. I'd love to know, how do you come up with that number per task in more detail, or maybe how could I get access to a copy of your current pricing list for tasks that you assign to your team? First of all, Frankie, yeah, reach out to me. You know what? I'll make a note. I'm just going to send you my price list. You can see it because I know you personally. This would be a great topic for me to cover in more detail, which I'm going to do tomorrow on the mastermind webinar, but probably in a public setting like this. I'm going to say price sheet to Frankie. I'm going to send it to you, Frankie. I'll just send it to you via Facebook Messenger. I'll give you my current price list and what I pay my team for each task that I execute, but keep that between us. Now, for everybody else, I'm going to be talking about this on the mastermind webinar tomorrow. One of the talks at the event was Patrick Shannon from LeadSnap, and he was talking about organizational structure and how he pays his staff and everything else. Him and I have almost an identical organizational structure, but I pay my team entirely differently. He pays by hour, per hour. I pay per task. And mine's like a network marketing model, which means like the team leader positions or project manager positions, they get a cut of every bit of work, every item or task executed by their subordinates, they get paid on. So the subordinate, the individual worker gets paid per task that they complete. The project manager or team leader, depending on where they are in the hierarchy, they get a cut of every single one of those individual item tasks that got paid. They get a piece of it. So the more people they manage and the more productive their team is, the more that the team leader or project manager makes. That makes sense. So it's incentive for everybody to become more efficient, to produce more. Everybody has incentive to become more efficient and produce more. And it's just been amazing. That's how I have fierce loyalty from my employees or my contract workers, is because of the way that I pay. And they can make crazy amounts of money. And that's not a joke. And they all have incentive to get better. Every one of them have incentive to get better. And so, again, I'm not saying one way is right and the other way is wrong. I'm just saying we have very similar organizational structures, but I pay on a per task basis, which is a basically performance-based pay. Instead of hourly. Again, with hourly, there's not really a lot of incentive to improve, right? So, again, I'm not saying one way is right or one way is wrong, but I'm going to talk about this in much more detail tomorrow, because during the mastermind webinar, because during the event, when we talked about this in the kind of like breaks and things like that, I had a lot of questions. People kept asking me about my structure and my pay, like how my compensation plan, excuse me. So I do want to go into more detail about that. So I'm going to cover that tomorrow at the beginning of the mastermind webinar. And then maybe next week, if I think about it, I'll create a more kind of more generic version that I can then cover in a public setting. If that makes sense, so that you guys can benefit from that as well. But Frankie, I will send you a copy of my price sheet when Hump Day Hangouts is over today. By the way, that local PBN Flowster SOP you shared at the event is fantastic. I already have my team working on it as we speak. Thank you. You're welcome. That was precisely the reason I gave it to you guys, was so that there was no excuse that any of you at the event would not implement what I shared. I gave you the SOP, so you don't even have to do it. Just plug a VA in and they'll do it for you, right? Brian says, how do you suggest we test with Evo 4 with clients while you are also testing? build assets, supporting assets for your clients. That's what I'm going to be doing starting on, like I said, on Fridays. I'm just going to start testing with it and figure out the best way. I honestly don't know the best way yet. I have not got in there to test with it at all yet. So I really don't know yet. This is just a guess, and we're running out of time here. So I know, but I'm going to, once I kind of figure out how the software works, then I'm going to start playing with different, use cases. I would start with just supporting assets for an existing client if you have one, or, even just, as I mentioned before, lead gen assets in the same area for targeting the same keywords as one of your existing clients, but that is not actually connected to any of their properties yet. Because then once you kind of figure out the best way to use it and how to get the best results out of it, then you can start to connect those properties to your client. But until then, if you're worried, just, don't connect them to your client stuff yet. Like I said, I'm going to be testing, guys, and starting on Friday, and then at least a couple days every week, I'll be in there testing with it. And I'll share more detail when I have it. I just don't have any data on it yet. Robert, what's up, buddy? He says, in your opinion, will redirecting an expired domain to a client site help establish local relevance? Example, if I find an expired domain that had hyperlocal company links to, and 301 redirect it to a client homepage, will it help establish local relevance? I would rather build that out, Robert. If it's the same Robert P that I think it is, you and I have talked about this before, even on mastermind webinars. So I don't like to redirect domains to client websites, period. Money assets. I don't like to do it. I've been very clear about that from day one. I don't like to do it. Yeah, you can do it, but why not just build out the domain instead? Right? If you found a good domain with local relevance, why not build it out? I mean, that's, by the way, Robert, if it's the same Robert I know of, you're in the mastermind, man. You have access to this training that I just gave everybody, which is the local PBN building training. That is the method that I shared at the SEO event on how to take those domains with local relevance and build them out. Automated ways to do it too. Why not build it out? It's safer that way. I don't like to do redirects to money assets, guys. There's a reason for that, because money assets, that can raise a red flag. I mean, if you only do one, you occasional, then you're probably fine. But I prefer to build them out. That's all I'm saying. What about redirecting to a Google Business profile share URL? Yeah, that's different. That's not a money site. Does that make sense? Of course, you can do all kinds of redirects to cloud pages and Web 2.0 assets and stuff like that all day long. I'm just talking about the money site itself. I don't like to redirect to that. I'd rather build that domain out. Is that clear? Hopefully that's clear. Okay, guys, we're almost done. Just got a couple of comments I want to address, and we're done. Wayback is too secret. This will be a rare disagreement with Bradley regarding your first steps to get started. Join the mastermind. Good. That's a good one. Join the mastermind. If you did not get $200 of value from today's Hump Day Hangout, I don't know what to say. Thank you for that, and I appreciate that. Yeah, and I get what you're saying. It's true. Without proper guidance, you could be flapping in the wind, and you could waste a lot of time, money, and energy, and never get any results because you don't have clear guidance as to what to do. Having a step-by-step blueprint absolutely helps. There's no question about that. The question was, which tools and apps would I suggest? It wasn't about training. I really appreciate you commenting, though, for real. Like, honestly, that was great. Your check's in the mail. But yeah, that you've got a really good point. If you have a roadmap and guidance, you will shortcut your learning curve and the money that you waste and time that you waste trying to figure all of this shit out yourself. He is absolutely 100% right. And that's not because I'm trying to pitch you into the mastermind, although that is ultimately what I would suggest. It's just to have somebody to provide guidance so that you can duplicate without having to kind of reinvent the wheel. Hopefully that makes sense.
It's quite simple. If you want our help implementing what Bradley showed, like, just join the mastermind.
Yeah. And again, there's other free avenues, guys. There's Hump Day Hangouts and there's Twitch. You can watch me on Twitch every morning. If you want to sit there and watch raw video footage with me working sometimes without talking for an hour at a time, you can glean a lot of insight there on what I do in my business. So last thing is everything dirt bike. Love the name. I'm an off-road enthusiast myself. You guys do done for you services? We do. I have Semantic Links, which is my link building service. We have Semantic SEO, which is our white label local SEO service. It's really by invitation only right now. If you are seriously need that, contact support@semanticmastery.com. and they will direct you to me, and I'll have a chat with you, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And then we have Local Fury. So those are our 3 done for you services right now. Okay, guys, thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate you all. We're only 4 minutes over, so we'll see you guys next.